Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel tonight. It's Friday night, it's November 2nd, and we just finished WWE Crown Jewel from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, one of the most controversial pay-per-view events, network specials in history. And long story short, what we're going to do here is I'm going to kind of talk about the last month, couple of weeks in WWE in particular, wrestling. It's been a little bit of a busy couple of weeks now. Excuse me for being a little bit sort of not taken aback, but a little bit confused in this video. It's just because the whole Crown Jewel situation is weird in itself, so that's obviously going to be a hindrance. But then, of course, WWE Evolution was last week or 2 weeks ago when it was October 28th, so last week. And I have the two match cards here. Now, I never got a chance to talk about Evolution, and I really wanted to because I really liked it. I thought it was a really good show. In terms of the first ever all women's pay-per-view, I thought it was a great success. Great success. And then we get Crown Jewel, which is, you know, another all-male event. Now, shout out to Renee Young, who was the only female performer. Revolutionary. Absolutely, she does a great job, really, and she's good and she's nice, and you know, she deserves it. So good for her. The only reason I bring that up is just because of the nature, the absolute divide of these two events. And it's like, what do you say? You can't fairly compare them. You can't say anything without being judged or accused of being biased towards the other. You know what I mean? It's like you're on eggshells when you're talking about either of these pay-per-views or even topics, you know. You get the all-women's pay-per-view with Evolution, you got the all-male pay-per-view with Crown Jewel. Now, Evolution being an absolute success, right? Now, hang on a minute. I'm not sure if this was the case, but was there another show on the road somewhere on Sunday, October 28th, when Evolution was happening? Was like an all-male, you know, live event somewhere? Which is perfectly acceptable, and that's fine if that was the case. But this looked like a very NXT-ish show. Now, what I mean by that is, I'm not saying Triple H controlled the whole thing, but that was kind of the way it was looking. You know, the lights on the audience was all dimmed, and it was just on the ring, and it was kind of lower production value, and you know, the stage was different. You know, now that could have just been a conscious effort to make it different to any other event in previous history, and that's great because this was a big deal. It was special. It should feel different. You know. In all the most supportive way possible. You know, I wanted to be revolutionary, wanted to stand out, and it absolutely did. I thought it looked great. I thought the fact the stage was different made it feel special, you know, because all pay-per-views, all Raws, all SmackDowns, they all have their individual sets, and that's the way it stays, you know. Whatever's easiest for that building. But no, the Evolution one looked cool. It looked different. They put an effort into it, which was great. And then we go to Crown Jewel with all the money in the world being thrown at it, and you get pyro, you get a super duper stage, a super duper entrance in this big stadium, which is really funny because like they cut pyro and all that good stuff just to sort of cut costs and stuff. And then they get thrown all this money. So my opinion on the Saudi Arabia thing, right? It's like, what am I going to do or say that is going to affect this situation, right? It's just best, for me anyway, just to leave it, right? Don't even bring it up, not even mention it. Let's just take it with a pinch of salt and let's just enjoy it as a wrestling show, because there's no, what am I going to say that's going to make any difference to whatever crisis is going on in the country, or, you know, it's going to make a difference to the wrestling industry, what I think. So what I have done with this whole situation is I've put everything that's going on in the world to the back of my mind and gone into this pay-per-view thinking, right, it's another WWE pay-per-view, let's check it out. And no matter what it is, if it's wrestling, if it's WWE, if it's New Japan, if it's Impact, if it's anything like that, I'm going to enjoy it no matter what it is, you know. So all these situations, like, oh, it's an all-women's pay-per-view, blah, 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 I'm still going to enjoy the fact that it's wrestling. Oh no, the Crown Jewel thing it's wrong, it's against all this, probably so, absolutely, but it's a wrestling show, so you need to take it as a wrestling show, you know. And it's obviously like, WWE aren't the focal point of this whole thing. It's not like the individual performers and the wrestlers that are making problems worldwide. You know, it's the politics involved. It's the leaders involved. This is a deal that WWE signed. They could have easily moved it to another building, but they didn't. And they have the right to do the show. They signed that before all this was taking place, and of course there was issues with Greatest Royal Rumble, of course there was. But when you get thrown all this money and you're thinking from a business point of view, we're only doing 2 shows a year, everybody's going to get paid a great deal. It's not just, the company, everyone's making a good payday, let's do it. And obviously they were hoping it was going to make some change, it was going to be beneficial and stuff, and then all this happens outside of WWE, and all this breaking news happens through real life, and it affects the inner workings of the business, and they just have to go and play their part. It's just a show, they have to go and do it. So it's just awkward, man. It's just a really awkward situation, that a fucking mayor in America is in the main event of the show in Saudi Arabia, and they didn't mention the words Saudi Arabia and the whole Crown Jewel event. It's just finished this Friday night. It's just finished, so not to mention, I'm not even mentioning the event on its own right, but what a confusing show. It was already confusing going in because the Universal title situation. I kind of wanted to make a video about Roman Reigns and kind of talking about my opinion on that, because I'm a huge Roman Reigns fan. I have been for years. It's not like a bandwagon jumper or I'm trying to be different. I legit think, I love him, and this has all happened with the leukemia stuff, and it's right in the feels, and I kind of wanted to do a wee video about it, but again, it's just finding the time to do it. So that was weird. We're going to get a new champion, right? And Lesnar's in the match. Now, it was working all these matches and all these months and even over a year, 500 odd days to get this title off of Lesnar, and it's Roman, yes. And then Lesnar's got the title again. It's like, I'm not a huge Braun Strowman fan. I'm not a huge Strowman guy, but at least he's one of our guys, you know what I mean? He's there every week and stuff, and he's someone different, So I was pulling for the first time in my life, I was pulling for Braun, which was fine, and then Lesnar won the title again, which is great, so... And then we get the DX thing. Like, that's another thing. Like, oh my god. Shawn Michaels. This show is bonkers. Shawn Michaels retires at WrestleMania 26, March 2010, and is like adamant for years, I'm not coming out of retirement. And the only thing that would bring me out of retirement is a really good idea. A really good storyline, a really good angle that I could really sink my teeth into. And the lovely folk over at Inside the Ropes did a show with Shawn Michaels. I don't know where it was. I know it was a relatively small tour. And he said, there was an idea pitched to me by Vince McMahon, and it was involving Undertaker, and it was a great idea, and it was the first time in a long time I was thinking this could be potentially something that I could do, And he didn't reveal to us what it was, and then of course this thing happens with DX and stuff, and that was probably the idea. They probably said, okay, we're going to get DX together, we're going to do Triple H and Undertaker again, you're going to get involved, we're going to bring back Kane, because that's going to bring some eyes in the political world, which is of course what we need. And then this was obviously the idea that they thought of, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction, So that was a big deal, Shawn coming out of retirement, and then in the match, Triple H tears his pec, but continues the match, because that's what Triple H does. So Triple H is getting surgery, so Triple H worked the whole match with one arm, and Shawn had to do his best to kind of carry it for what Triple H couldn't do, and Shawn just looked great. Of course he did, with his bald head, which was weird, but Shawn looked completely in the zone. He didn't look out of place. He did great, and he did that moonsault off the top and just face planted the floor, and immediately he was like shaking his head. He's like, bad idea, I shouldn't have done that, I can't do that anymore. But he did the nip up, he did the spot in the corner and stuff. He did really well, so I'm proud of Shawn for that. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. Then there was the Hulk Hogan thing. Just as if this show didn't have enough controversy in the first place, we bring back Hulk Hogan to host the show. It was nice to see him. Let's put it that way. It was nice to. It's always good to see the Hulkster. It's just funny, man. The show starts, this big controversial show, and then he's a real American. He fights for what's right. Good to see Hulk, whatever, you know what I mean? It's fine. What else did we have here? Right, then there was the tournament. Oh, okay, so the tournament, this is going to be the WWE World Cup. Now, don't get me, this is not like a bashing video or a rant or anything by any means. Like, I really enjoyed the show because it's wrestling. I'm going to enjoy any wrestling. It's a good laugh, isn't it? But when you get decisions like this, it's a bit odd, right? So the World Cup thing is going to determine the best in the world. It's the World Cup. And 80%, is that right? 85%? I don't know what the correct number would be, but a great deal of the brackets and the contestants and stuff are all American. Apart from Rey Mysterio, who's kind of American. Which is funny. And then it's the World Cup, so it's going to be determining the best in the world. And I'm guessing they're just trying to get this phrase over with another person. You know what I mean? Like, so it's always been the CM Punk thing or the Jericho thing, and these two guys aren't really doing much for the company right now. So let's try and get the best in the world moniker with someone else. Not a bad idea, you know, for a heel, you know, they can brag about it. For a face, it'll get them over more. So then there's tournaments announced and the brackets are revealed, and it's like, oh cool, you know, we're going to get Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton again. We get Dolph Ziggler versus Kurt Angle. We could potentially get Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. There's big matches here. And the finals end up being Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. Two of the best in the company, absolutely, you know, deservedly so. But it's just a bit weird. It's just a bit, like, odd. Like, why? Why was that the final? Why were those two guys in the main event? Why was it two heels? You know what I mean? A match we've seen a million times. It's just a bit odd. It's like, why? They had a great opportunity. And then, here comes Shane. And I'm assuming, obviously, the reason this was all went down was just because we're setting up Survivor Series. Of course it is. That's Raw versus SmackDown. And Survivor Series is looking bonkers as well. We're getting AJ versus Lesnar, again, a year on, and they're still the champions. Who would have predicted that? And just to think, it would have been AJ versus Roman. Oh my god. So then, to set up Survivor Series, I'm assuming, Shane O'Mac ends up replacing the injured Miz, and Shane wins the tournament. After not competing in the tournament, not qualifying for the tournament, beating Ziggler. I thought, okay, good, Ziggler, that's something good for Ziggler, you know, he can say that he's the best in the world or whatever, and then even if Miz won, that's great promo material for the Miz, it's stuff he talks about all the time. And then it's just Shane, and, you know, I don't know, I don't know why. It's like, there's other reasons, there's other ways you can get into Survivor Series, like even if, say the Raw guy won, right, Ziggler won, and Miz attacked him after, and Shane attacked him after. He wanted a SmackDown guy to win. You know, that could set up Survivor Series in its own right. But no, Shane won the tournament. So I'm guessing it's going to be Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Shane's going to be the leader of Team SmackDown, and Corbin's going to be the leader of Team Raw. Fine, but it's just so... Like, what's the point? I mean, I don't really rant, I don't really bitch about WWE very often, because there's enough of that in the world, but... I don't know, I was just baffled. I was like, And I like Shane, of course I like Shane. You know? It's just I was watching and I was going, okay. Don't understand why. Totally unnecessary. What was that for? You know, so I just kind of felt like I wasted my time a little bit watching the tournament. But fine, whatever. So that was that. And I've talked about Crown Jewel too much, but what a weird show. Weird. Weirder than Greatest Royal Rumble. You know, weirder than any other show this year. Confusing, but I'm baffled after watching that. I've gone on far too long. I don't like keeping these things too long. But the Evolution pay-per-view, I know I mentioned it earlier on, but I just thought it was great, man. I just thought it was, every match was different. It all had its, you know, position on the show, and the crowd were up for everything. And normally I go mental at WWE crowds. They annoy me. I'd rather watch the show with the volume down. But this was like great participation. Like, they were up for everything. Like, it was 20 women battle royal, and they were popping for everybody. Even Dana Brooke got an ovation. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. In all respect to Dana Brooke, who I actually quite like. I think she's good. But things that I've got the match card here. So Toni Storm and Io Shirai and the Mae Young finals was awesome. I have a huge crush on Toni Storm, huge, and I just think she's awesome. And so happy for a rightful winner, favourite from day one. And then Becky and Charlotte, two of the best female wrestlers of all time. And Charlotte doesn't get enough credit. She is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. I know, and just because she always gets, you know, she gets a push a lot and she's favoured a lot, but rightfully so, because she's fucking incredible at everything she does. Great performances all round. Charlotte and Becky having one of the best matches of the year. Then you get Ronda and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella's best match ever, and Ronda got out of her, you know. Rightful winners and everything. Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane had a good match, and Shayna re-won the title, which is weird. I don't know how to feel about Shayna Baszler. I like her theme song. Not the best wrestler, but I think that's obviously just because she was MMA first and she's kind of grown into it, but that's fine. Sasha, Bayley and Natalia and the Riot Squad, fine. Nia Jax, the only thing that annoyed me, the fact that Nia Jax won the Battle Royal because she didn't need to. Ember Moon was getting a great reception and stuff, and then Nia Jax she picked up, who did she pick up? She picked up somebody and threw her over the top rope and eliminated whoever it was, and she just crushed like Tamina's face. Tamina was catching her, whoever it was. I can't even remember who it was. Was it Naomi? Or Asuka? Maybe Asuka. Do you know who it was? It was Selena Vega, because she came in at the end and we all thought she was going to win. Selena Vega, awesome as well. And Nia Jax threw her out, and it looked as if she just wasn't paying attention. She picked Selena Vega up, who's toty, threw her over the top rope and just like crushed Tamina's face. I tweeted you on the show. I'm not. I was laughing at my own tweet. I know. I tweeted at CM42TV. I said something like, "I'm not one for negativity. You know, I'm all for optimism, and I love everything and everybody. But Tamina may be the worst wrestler I've ever seen. She's just." There's another one. Tamina even got a pop. So, Evolution was a huge success. It should absolutely be an annual thing. If they're doing the Crown Jewel thing twice a year, going to Saudi Arabia twice a year for an all-women's pay-per-view, please. Awesome. And I hope it's not just because it was the first time ever and it was great, because you got some really good quality on there. The only thing I would have wanted out of that, in fact, there was two things I could have wanted out of that. Sasha and Bayley to go one-on-one. I think that's deserved. And I wanted to see Asuka in a featured match. Forgot to talk about Trish and Lita. I felt bad for Alexa Bliss, who had to miss the show. Obviously she's a huge fan and stuff, so that really probably would have stung, but Trish and Lita did great. So good, in fact, they got to do another match on Raw the next night, so so good to see them. Just a great effort all round. You know, Becky Lynch is amazing. Ronda Rousey's an absolute star, you know what I mean? It's great, man. What a show. And in Crown Jewel, what a show in a different way. So what a weird month it's been. A weird week even, and then we get Survivor Series in 2 weeks, so Survivor Series should be really good. Always, the new Survivor Series is, you know, 16 and 17 when it's been Raw vs SmackDown again. I've really enjoyed, you know. So I love the feel of Raw vs SmackDown and the tag matches. Even though last year's was a bit weird with like Triple H and Angle and all that. But here's what I like about it. Do you remember back in 2001 when it was winner take all, when it was WWE versus the Alliance, and they all had individual entrances, and each entrance was building on the other one. Like, you know, it started with Shane and it finished with Stone Cold. It started with the Big Show, it finished with The Rock, and it was building on each entrance, and everybody was like a megastar. And it was like, if you weren't a fan and you tuned in, it still felt big. And I think that's what it was like, see, 2016 and 2017 at the Survivor Series shows, when it's been like, this is Team Raw and everybody comes out individually. It builds on each entrance, you know. Like, it's like showcasing this generation's top guys, you know, which I love. So that's going to be good. And of course, that's Survivor Series soon. Then it's TLC, and then go to the Royal Rumble again. It's been an absolute whirlwind of a year for WWE. And this past month has been bonkers. You get such a high with Evolution, and financially such a high with Crown Jewel, but so controversial. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But there you go. So yeah, that's just some thoughts, a wee bit of a discussion on some latest wrestling. And thanks for watching if you've stayed this long. I appreciate it very much if you watch the full video. So thanks very much, everybody. Tune in soon for some more stuff. We're closing in on the end of 2018. It has been the absolute best year I could have ever asked for YouTube. So I'm going to make a sort of channel update soon, talking about my reflection on 2018. It's just a big year for the channel. So thank you very much. You can subscribe for if you like more stuff or whatever. And, follow me on Twitter at CM42TV. Until next time, folks, thank you so much. Stay safe and go and watch Evolution before you watch Crown Jewel.